opener. Emily Contreras, the sophomore DS, gets us started with the serve. Pass from Hallie Schroeder. Jane Petrie, one of the two setters. Back to Schroeder, rolled to the corner. And that is something they have worked on a lot with Hallie Schroeder in the offseason.
Yeah, they're going to have her swing a lot, and they really feel like she's good at scoring with that velocity, but now it's scoring with all those other different kinds of shots. You know, it is interesting, Ben. You look at BC, we just told you, it feels like kind of this maybe start of a new era, but also 5 of the 6 on the floor are returners for Boston College from last year. So it's kind of that odd connection between the two.
Diving effort by the new libero, Morgan Riddle. That may be the biggest change for Boston College. 4-year starter, Anna Murphy, graduated. They had to move on. It's a huge loss for the Eagles.
Yes, it's a mass, all that she did. And you look, you know, we'll talk through the course of the show, what made Boston College so good the last couple of years. One of the things was how they played defense and how many digs they got compared to the rest of the conference, and that's all about Murphy. So the fact they brought someone in with experience as Ross scores from the back line, the fact they brought someone in with experience in Riddle is a pretty big thing to put in that spot.
A little bit of a new wrinkle there. Do not see BC set the back row often because of their 6-2 setup. They did so right there. Audrey Ross gets the kill.
And it looked good. And Ross, they really feel like took a big jump at the end of the year last year.
Big swing, but the block is there. Mia Wesley going to get set a ton today. Gets another look. Lambros to the back. Bounced off the block. Contreras with the save. On the opposite side, Lambros unable to handle it. Big rip there by Emily Merrick, who brings size on the right side, the former Tennessee player.
Yeah, and was pretty good earlier today. Texas Tech really blocked their way to that win against DKU. Merrick had 5 blocks, go along with 10 kills.
Here's Maddie Correa, one of the other DSs. She is the most experienced of the 3 defensive specialists that you'll see for the Red Raiders. Lambros, adjusted swing there from Ross. Wesley, big cross-court shot, but dug by Schroeder. There's the tip. Nice pancake by Dickinson, the libero. Popped up by Anna Harrington. And Ross tools the block. There's BC showing off its size. That's something Jason Kennedy talked about when Audrey Ross came in a year ago.
Yeah, and she's got good size, listed at 6'3", the sophomore. Let's go back earlier. This was the play you talked about. An excellent job on the pancake to keep that point going before Ross eventually gets the point for BC.
Morgan Riddle, the transfer from Colorado with the serve. That one off the pin from Wesley. So seeing a lot of early sets for Mia Wesley. They're going to rely on her heavily this year. Her arm is made of rubber. She will swing as much as 50 times in a match and just will not tire out.
Yeah, I mean, it's the perfect kind of player to bring in, right? We just need someone to go in, set up on the net, and just swing and swing and swing. And that's exactly what she's going to do for Texas Tech.
Comes over after a stellar career at Southern Mississippi, over 1,400 kills in 3 years. Do the math, that's an average of almost 500 a year. Free ball coming for BC. Riddle calls everybody off. Lambros to the middle, push through, and there's a middle set for the first time. It's Cornelia Roach, who came on strong in the back half of last season.
Yeah, what a great story she was, right? Basically did not have a role or a major role early in the season last year, but then took advantage of an opportunity due to some injuries and basically won the role for herself and has continued that momentum here into 2024.
Wesley through the block, Riddle's there. Lambros to the outside for Ross off the net. Contreras picks it up. Wesley again. Lambros got a piece. Riddle tracking it down, can't pull it back as she goes crashing into the lane barrier there.
Was almost kind of hoping it would hit one of the stanchions up top here at the Cannell Center, but it ends up just going out clean. Gonna learn the new surroundings a bit.
There's the big serve as well from Wesley. Harrington cross court, little too far. Anna Harrington, a player who gets back in the mix, started the season opener on the right side a year ago against Michigan. Had a couple nice performances. Injuries just derailed her 2023.
And I think it's kind of a positive sign, though, that she won the job last year, then didn't get to live that out because of the injuries, and then won the job again coming into camp this year. So it is a positive sign.
Ross tried to blast that one down the line, just faded it a little left. Red Raiders have evened it up here on Wesley's serve. That one into the net, though. Had a couple missed serves earlier today against Eastern Kentucky. She's someone who uses that big, powerful swing on the jump serve as well, so she's feast or famine in that regard. BC gets to their center switch. Here comes Jane Petrie. She's had a lot of time to sort of sit and watch. She has spelled the setters over the time, but now she's in the opportunity as a starter.
Yep, Grace Penn leaving after her senior year, so Petrie gets that chance, and it's Hoppus who she's paired up with to start.
There's Ross with a big block, shutting down Reagan Engler on the right side.
That's a spot that Jason Kennedy has liked what he's seen from Audrey Ross. Feels like she's become an effective blocker. And one of the reasons she can kind of lift herself into that other left side role.
And there's an ace from Petrie. Only 4 aces again in limited duty all of last season. Going to be interesting to see what she can do with an opportunity at the full-time role.
Right. I mean, it's not that she hasn't played a lot the last couple of years, because she has, but it's always sort of been, hey, maybe this setter's struggling or needs some kind of a curveball, so come in, play a little bit. But now we'll have the opportunity to get in a little bit of a groove.
Bryn Williams with her first kill of the match. Able to whip that one into the corner. Riddle hoping it was out, guessed wrong. Also a new setter this year for Texas Tech, one familiar to Boston College, Hannah Borer, 2-year starter at Virginia Tech, makes the move to Texas. Out of the middle, is that one deflected off the block? It was. Little shifting of the hitters as it was Hoppus who came into the middle for the double ball. So first kill for the sophomore Sam Hoppus, and we'll get a look at Brooklyn Yelland, defensive specialist. Served in that role plenty last year, 88 digs as a freshman. That one into the net. First missed serve of the night for BC, but the Eagles still in front by a pair.
Yeah, another good example of someone kind of almost really with her, it's almost filling the same role as that DS. She basically won that job last year most of the way.
And Jason Kennedy said it was a battle between her and Riddle to who would wear the libero shirt on opening night. Hoppus denied. Big block there from Bryn Williams.
Well, the blocking really stands out from Texas Tech in game 1, right? We saw McDonald had 8. There's Williams, really good positioning there against the lefty Hoppus.
Clean pass from Riddle to the middle this time. Nice dig out of the back by Wesley. Back row swing, right to Yelland. Petrie to the outside for Schroeder. Off the block, Dickinson. Williams with the extra poke. Petrie to the back, Hoppus one-on-one again. This time she wins.
Good set from Petrie, good back set. Remember, the core of this offense is still what we've always talked about with Jason Kennedy, right? It's fast, it's the passes a little bit lower, so you're going a little bit quicker offensively. That was a good one.
Here's Roach back to the service line for BC. Tough pass, saved on the dive by Borer. Off the free ball, Petrie past Haggerty, the tip forces Williams in. Williams, don't think that set was intended for, but she took it anyway. Schroeder off the double. Hoppus unsure whether to play it or not and got caught halfway between. Just couldn't get a good read whether that ball was going to tail off the net out of bounds or whether it was going to stay in, and just ended up short-arming it.
Seen a couple of different times. Boston College has taken a 2, 3, 4-point lead, and then it's quickly gone back the other way.
Tough pass off the hands of Schroeder. Bump deep. Contreras with the free ball. Borer to the middle. Lynan is blocked. Kept alive, though, nicely by Merrick. And Wesley can't put it away. Popped up by Haggerty. Schroeder with a roller. Borer to the back. Merrick again. Dug up nicely by Petrie. Yelland with it back set. And that one rolled through. Schroeder found the seam. How about the back set, though, from the sophomore Yelland?
Yeah, I mean, that point continues to go on and on. I actually thought the biggest part of the point was Haggerty getting the solo block early, but that's a really good one from Yelland. And that was something that Anna Murphy provided for Boston College, not just the digs, but when they needed a set here and there, she was really good at getting it. And it looks like we're actually going to have a challenge here for the first time from Texas Tech.
Tony Greystone, the 9th-year head coach, has the green card out. Looking at perhaps a net touch. Now, one reason Yellen may have been confident to handset that is the new rule about the second touch. You sort of get a little bit more leeway in terms of a double contact. They've taken that rule out of the mix. So you can get away with a little bit more now hand setting that second ball, even if you're not a natural setter.
Yeah, it definitely makes a big difference. And there are a few different new rules across college volleyball this year that we can talk through a little bit while we have a second as they look at the replay monitor. 2 liberos in a set. That's an interesting one. You know, we talked about it with Tony Greystone, and it didn't seem like something he was going to use. I think we might hear that from a lot of coaches, but it is an interesting wrinkle.
We have seen a couple teams experiment with it. You know, if you watch the ABCA first serve down in Louisville earlier in the week, you saw some of those teams experimenting with using a second libero if you feel one has better serve receive.
So take a look there. You saw Hoppus. Yeah, that was a few moments before the end of the point.
But also, when she brushes the net, the ball's really not in play at the net. So, you know, you could understand if the official missed the sight of that one there. See if this gets overturned. Right now, BC with an early 11-9 lead. As we await the ruling on the Texas Tech challenge, Tony Greystone 116 and 120, now 117 and 120 as they picked up the victory earlier today over Eastern Kentucky. Not long since this Texas Tech team was in the NCAA tournament. 2021 was the last time they went, but after a tough year in the Big 12 last year, some new, very talented teams into the Big 12 this year with the dissolution of the Pac-12.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a tough year, but it's a totally new Texas Tech team in a lot of ways.
And one of the points that he made to us was that even though it's a lot of transfers, most of them were in the spring, and they were able to work them through. So it's not new this fall. They've been kind of a cohesive unit for a while now, and that's one of the underrated things with the transfer portal sometimes, right? Can you get them in the spring, have that spring season of everybody to gel together as a fall sport, and then, you know, obviously in a spring sport, you bring them in the fall, it's no problem, right? That's all part of it. But fall sport, it's a lot harder to do that sometimes. So there you see the 11 newcomers for Texas Tech, 5 of them being transfers. You know, the Big 12's interesting too this year because on the one hand, you lose Texas, who is, you know, been one of the dominant programs of the sport. And it looks like they're going to stick with the call on the floor. But on the other hand, you do bring in some pretty quality programs. And, you know, I think both of these conferences now, it doesn't feel like there's an easy 3, 4, 5 games at the bottom.
Nope. And as you said, Power 5 sort of becomes Power 4. And so some of the strongest leagues have really only gotten stronger and deeper. So out of the timeout, BC does keep the point. Off the deflection, Lambros back for Harrington. Took something off that one. Nice save by Bohr. Merrick rejected. There is Julia Haggerty doing what Julia Haggerty does.
Well, we've seen it a couple of times already today. Saw that one on that point early in the one that was reviewed. Here's that shot from Harrington. It's a great pancake once again. A really good job by Texas Tech. That's Hannah Bohr. It was another one of those new players coming in from the ACC and Virginia Tech.
That one tooled off the block. Wesley taking something off that shot. Well, to your point, Eric, Texas Tech has not let BC really pull away yet in this first set. Always keeping it at the very least a 2 to 3 point margin.
I think it got to 3 once, but otherwise they've been pretty good at bringing it back.
Long run there for Lambros, and Schroeder is turned away. Just so much time for the block to set up there. Reagan Engler.
Jason Kennedy's talked so much about that first pass. And when that first pass is slightly off and it chases your setter out of position, it's almost impossible to get yourself in a position to get a really good swing from that third.
Here's Haggerty's first swing, and it falls in.
That's such a good read. I mean, you could see there the block of Engler is angled enough that she's just not in the right position, and Haggerty can use that to her advantage. Again, we talked a little about, we know that the defensive game is there. Now it's about, you know, can there be an offensive step here? Jason Kennedy's always sort of had that offensive middle and maybe a little more of a defensive middle, and they're expecting Haggerty to kind of grow into that role.
That one in on the sideline. An ace for Hallie Schroeder, second ace of the set for BC. Well, Haggerty did make an offensive leap a year ago. Nearly 150 kills, hit almost 400, which is still a good number out of the middle. And there's another block from Haggerty as well, combining with Ross to turn it away. Largest lead of the night for Boston College. 15-11. Eagles have the lead in the first set. Now, fans, as we head to break, some devastating news affected the BC family. Former hockey stars Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau died last night after being struck by a car while riding bikes together in New Jersey for a scheduled family wedding this weekend. Johnny played 3 seasons here at Boston College, winning a national championship with the Eagles. BC trying to extend its largest lead of the first set. Nice dig again by the setter, Bohr. Haggerty keeps it alive. Riddle sends it over. Merrick. Bohr to the middle. That one tipped down. Nicely done by Reagan Engler. Did not play in the opener today. She's sort of on a jump count, according to her head coach, Tony Greystone. They wanted to save her, I think, for this match tonight.
Yeah, and I think, someone who they feel like, as a returning starter, missed some time in the spring, but is such an important piece for them. And have to just be aware of it, manage it the right way.
Serve from Correa, picked up by Ross. Gets the set, rolls it. Dickinson saves. Wesley, big rip off the net, and just out of the reach of Haggerty.
It actually held in the net there for a long enough time that it almost ended up with Haggerty getting an opportunity.
Will go down as the third kill for Wesley. Already 11 swings for her. Short serve, tough one for Ross. It's over and out. That was something that was going to have to be a work in progress for Audrey Ross. We saw early last year teams targeted her in the serve receive. Well, Texas Tech doing the same.
You've seen the whole thing, right? Because you've seen a couple of good swings. You've seen a couple of really solid blocks. And then that's the other part there. So it's all part of, kind of what it brings to the table there on the left side.
This time Riddle steps in to take it. Set for Ross. Off the double, right to Dickinson. Wesley rejected. Big block from Anna Harrington.
Well, the block's been really solid for Boston College early in this game. That's 4 blocks for BC in this first set. Neither team has hit particularly well here in set number 1. Both teams have played good defense.
Here's Ross again. Dickinson with the save. Long set. Wesley found the seam through the block. Just a little bit of space there between Harrington and Roach.
And that's going to be all part of some new rotations this year, first couple of games. Figuring out where your defensive alignment is.
Serve off the net, controlled by Ross. Set back to Harrington, who finds the back line.
Better control that time. Remember earlier, she skied one on one of her first swings, and that time it was a very similar set to that earlier one, but better job controlling it and landing it in. Plenty of room to spare.
Setter change for the Eagles. Here comes Petrie to the line. Hoppus into the front row. Pass from Correa. Williams. Looks like a hook shot.
They've even deflected off the block there.
She gets every last bit of that vertical on every swing. Dickinson, the libero, with the serve. Again, targets Ross. Petrie to the middle. Roach with a tip. Dickinson got it. Fired over. Petrie to the back this time. Hoppus can't find the angle. Just got off balance in midair there.
It is, we felt like we've talked for a long time with Boston College, and it is the same names on that right side. A little bit new this year with Harrington and Hoppus. That was a good shot there from Hoppus.
Ross able to shake him out of the slump with a blast down the line. That'll bring in Brooklyn Yelland to serve once again.
So 3 kills for Audrey Ross today. That hit percentage was down a little bit last year, but decent job so far. 3 kills on 10 swings here.
Deep serve from Yelland at Wesley. Long set, Williams, blocked, kept alive. Back row, it's Wesley. Off of Riddle and out of play. May have been deflected first by the block. That's why Riddle had to reach up for it. 5 kills in this first set for Mia Wesley. Bohr's serve at Schroeder. She gets the set. Roll shot. Bohr, Dickinson, back across. Wesley clears everybody out. She's just going to take everything. Hoppus with a push. It's long. Good read by Wesley. She's doing it all.
You know, it was a good idea there, but that push shot, but it just ended up a little bit long, not by much.
And we're going to see a change here. Jenna Pollock, who has spent plenty of time on the right side in her career, comes in. Senior out of Canada. 122 kills a year ago. Schroeder took something off it. Williams just got there in time. Wesley a roll shot. To the middle, it's out of reach. Oh, Schroeder there with the save. Williams off the block. Riddle keeps it going. Schroeder again, hammers it for the tool.
You know, as much as that shot had a lot of velocity on it from Schroeder, it was still kind of almost, rather than full go, over the top. A little bit of a kind of sidearm, good delivery on that shot. One of the things we talked about early on is there are different aspects of her game and how she's scoring points. And I think we've seen some of that here in the early going.
Cornelia Roach with the serve at 19-all. Williams. Nice save by Roach. Right into ejected by Haggerty. Both middles coming through large for BC.
Well, really good job by Roach, again in the back row here, and there is Haggerty, and that's one of the reasons she was one of the best blockers in the country last year. 5 blocks in this first set for Boston College. That's kind of the difference right now. Both teams are hitting just, you know, 114 on their hit percentage both ways. And Boston College 1 more attack error, Texas Tech 1 fewer kill. But it's been the blocks that have stood out. But just even in this first set, I mean, this is everything you could hope for in an opening game to test yourself and see where you are early on in the season.
Well, Julia Haggerty standing out with 4 blocks, so she's been in on a lot of those for Boston College, and that's sort of how the Eagles kind of made their hay late last season. They have consistently been one of the better blocking teams in the ACC, and they were number 2 in the conference a year ago.
And it makes sense, right? Because if you're pretty good on the block and you're pretty good digging the ball, that's probably going to match up with a pretty good, you know, job defensively and a pretty low opponent hit percentage. And that was kind of the story for Boston College last year. They had some tough non-conference games. They did a decent job. A little bit of a slow start in ACC play, but then really hit the gas once they hit November down the stretch of the season. And that's one of the things this year. Can they hit their stride a little earlier in the year? Look at the last couple of years. They've been, you know, struggled in October, been very, very good in November. Even 2 years ago, obviously going to the NIVC. I mean, if you just look at the ACC games for Boston College, it's a pretty direct split right around October 28th of where they started in the ACC and then how they finished the year. Last year, 5-2 after the 28th, 5-1 in November.
Well, there certainly will be no nights off in the ACC. We know that much. And this is certainly a good way to start their season with a test against another power conference opponent. Is out of the timeout. Williams comes through with a kill, all even at 20 apiece.
Yeah, they're just adding, ACC just adding Stanford, who slots in at top 5 national team.
And BC has to make that trip this year as well, out to California. It's Columbus Day weekend, October 11th and 12th. Schroeder answers right back. We've seen the velocity tick up for Schroeder on the last couple swings, going back to her instincts.
Right, it's good to have the change-ups, but you still need your fastball every once in a while.
Second on the team in points last year. Little surprising maybe that she didn't quite make the ACC All-Rookie team, just despite her usage, I would say. Merrick, first set in a while for her. Lambros dug it up. Schroeder again. Dickinson recovers. Wesley, tip, returned. Got another chance. This one blocked again. Merrick's turn, her tip. Oh, it falls in. Everybody caught ball watching that time for BC as it floated over the top of the block.
Well, the block had been pretty good a few different times here. And then just not over by much.
Server change here for the Red Raiders. Well, they had Aaliyah McDonald in. It'll be Caitlin Cochran, sophomore out of California, the backup setter. So she and Borer are both in the back row right now. Schroeder tools the block. Well, we've said this the last couple years, Eric. Feels like BC has always kind of needed that maybe go-to hitter. Ali Schroeder feels like she's becoming the go-to player here down the stretch.
Yeah, I think it always felt like that go-to was on the right side. And this year it feels like that go-to is going to be on the left side, right? I mean, if you look, 8 kills in this first set between Ross and Schroeder.
And a good serve from Schroeder as well. Going to force a free ball out of Dickinson. Schroeder takes it, back set. Harrington tried to bounce it off Wesley. It's kept alive. Wesley's swing off the block, recovered nicely by Ross. Back row chance for Schroeder, kept alive by Borer. Wesley off the net. Schroeder's right there. Lambros, jump set. Ross finds the corner. The two super sophomores combining to give BC the 2-point lead. Timeout, Texas Tech.
A couple of really good sets there from Sophie Lambros. This was a good one as well. I think the thing that this offense has progressed into under Jason Kennedy is, yes, it's still the core of going quickly, but when you really need that high ball sometimes to give your pin an opportunity, and that was a good example of it where you do want to kind of get it up a little bit more, and that's part of what is the benefit of having a fifth-year setter, right, who's been setting consistently for 5 years, because she kind of has that feel of, okay, let's put this one up a little bit more, give Ross a chance, and obviously, I mean, you cannot locate it better than that.
And Lambros arguably coming off her best year of her career last year. Well, the ACC we've talked about just getting tougher and tougher every year. It gets a lot tougher when you factor in Cal, who's been a national runner-up, Stanford, who's got 9 titles in their back pocket, and an SMU team that is perennially now a top 30 program.
Yeah, I was going to say Stanford obviously is going to jump out, right? And they're the top 5 team in the country, but SMU is the one that is receiving votes, so right outside the preseason poll, but they're the one that stands out. We talked with Jason Kennedy. He said that's probably a top 20 team this year. They've been pretty consistently that. So, you know, it's not only the travel piece and not only the, you know, the interesting piece, but just a couple of really high-level programs for an ACC that now, I mean, we always used to talk about a top 2 and maybe a top 3, and I mean, now it really feels like a top 4, maybe 5, maybe 6. I mean, it starts to push down, and the depth of the conference is starting to get pretty impressive here in the ACC.
You saw there Boston College picked to finish 15th out of the 18 teams now in the ACC. And, well, if you're going to make some hay, as Jason Kennedy said, you're going to have to start earlier in the fall now. Wesley's shot deflected by Harrington. Set to her. She pushes it deep. Contreras with a nice save. Wesley, Riddle got under it. Ross gives up the free ball, short. Set to the back, Merrick able to spin it off Ross. No, she missed. Ross got her hands out of the way. How about the defense from the new libero, Morgan Riddle?
Yeah, you saw a really good couple of defensive plays on both sides. That was Texas Tech going for it, and then Riddle, who steps in, makes that great play and sets up set point for Boston College.
Schroeder took over at 21-all. She's trying to close it out here. Merrick, roll shot to Schroeder. Lambros for Ross. Dickinson got it. Bohr brings it back over to Wesley. Riddle with another great dig. Ross again, shortens it, kept alive again. Here's Merrick with a push. Schroeder got over in time, popped up by Harrington. Ross off the adjusted swing, hammers it off Leinen, and Audrey Ross with her 5th kill of the set. How about a 4-0 run in Boston College volleyball history? And is gonna very likely surpass that record this year with her first ace. Nearly had it there. Instead, it's over and out on the 3rd hit. A good serve nonetheless.
And you see her numbers, and that assist number as well.
For the serve, Boer doing some cleanup work on the floor. The middle. Saw those assist numbers. She'll cross the 2,000 mark, barring injury at some point this year. You see the opening night crowd. Good one on hand. Again, tough serve for the Red Raiders, and the swing is wide by Wesley. Couple of out-of-system sets here to start the 2nd set for Texas Tech.
Yeah, just haven't felt like they've really quite found their offensive groove yet. You know, coming off game 1 where they hit 330, including 440 in that 3rd set.
Wesley again off the net. It's blocked, kept alive on top, and Haggerty goes and gets it. Change in the back row coming here for the Red Raiders.
Well, it's such a weapon to have Julia Haggerty up front, and there, just again, as she's gone deeper into her career, more confidence to jump out and take that shot.
2nd kill tonight for Haggerty. Simone Overbeck, grad student, transfer from Arizona after 2021, comes into the back row for Contreras. Wesley rejected. Haggerty and Harrington, and that duo has combined for a few now.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, right? We know how good Haggerty was as a blocker last year, but she's basically doing it with different partners this year, right? That Harrington not really playing last year because of some injuries, and they've looked good together. Haggerty and Ross have looked good together. Couldn't quite control that one.
Maybe got caught reaching a little bit there as Wesley found the fingertips. Now, one thing we know, Mia Wesley will always find a way to get her kills. She's done that throughout her entire college career. Jason Kennedy pleased with the 4-0 run to start the 2nd. Schroeder with a hand pass, gets the set from Lambros and buries that one off Dickinson.
Well, remember, it's 5-1 to start the 2nd. It's 9-1 going back to the end of that 1st set here, right, for Boston College.
And Schroeder back to the line. She was the one who keyed the 4-0 run to close the 1st. Another good serve. It's Wesley with a tip. Dug up by Lambros. Riddle will bump set it. Harrington is blocked. Engler and Wesley up there to go get it. Maddie Correa back to serve. Nearly 400 digs a year ago for the senior from San Antonio. Back row swing Schroeder. Correa's on it. Back row swing coming from Overbeck. Long bump set. Nice one from Harrington, and Ross able to jam it through. How about the long bump set there?
Well, as we've said a lot, if you're gonna go and take that, you better get it right. And she did, to her credit. Really good job getting it right up against the net.
Here is Riddle, the grad student, new libero for Boston College. Off the net, it's an ace. Finally broke into the starting rotation for the Buffs a year ago. Had over 250 digs, 19 aces. It's her first for BC.
One of those little fortunate, but put it in a good spot.
Another out-of-system set. Wesley, Riddle, oh, got a good piece of it, but Lambros couldn't turn around and find it. Riddle full extension, maybe a little shaken up there on the landing.
Well, certainly it's going to make a lot of fans here at Boston College with her effort and performance so far. Nearly got to that one as well.
Jason Kennedy told us many a time over the last few years, when he writes out the lineup sheet, it was Anna Murphy, 4 years in a row, was the first name he penciled in. He doesn't have the luxury of having her at the libero spot anymore. He chose to go find a veteran in the transfer portal, and Riddle has looked solid so far.
Yeah, that was an interesting shot there from Ross. Looked like she was coming cross court, did a good job to fake and come back down the line, and kind of confused Mia Wesley there.
And this is a BC program that has not gone into the portal very much, but when they have found players to work into the rotation, remember Kate Brennan a couple years ago helped them to that NIVC title. It's been a success. Riddle with another diving dig. Ross, too much behind that one, looking for a tip. Good to see a challenge here from BC. Everyone looking over the bench. Jason Kennedy is unmoved.
Not worth it at 8-4. By the way, Jenna Pollock starting on the right side in this second rotation for BC here in set number 2.
Paired up with Petrie. Back row swing, Schroeder blocked, and it falls in between Ross and Riddle. It's a couple times now that those blocks have gotten caught in between BC players.
You still see a little bit of that first game, getting that communication right. Just really not much you could do, put in a pretty good spot.
Schroeder again. This time she pinballs it high off of Williams and out of play. Take a look. Did this get the high hands or the high head? We say Williams has a 5-foot vertical, and
that's
Schroeder.
High head.
Schroeder aimed high there. Brooklyn Yelland in to serve for the Eagles. Goes at her. The opposite libero, Dickinson. Wesley, the push from the back. One-hand dig Riddle. Yelland sets. Schroeder pokes into the block. Williams says, let's take 3. Back row, Wesley. Out long. Wesley claiming tip. Nothing from the officials. Don't see Tony Greystone going for the challenge card here. 5-point lead early in set number 2. BC in front 1-0. 25-21 in the first. Moore again on the move. And Williams is rejected. Pollock out there with Roach. And there you see both right side hitters for BC, Harrington and Pollock, are converted middles, and their blocking has been impactful.
I mean, if your block is the strength of your team, you might as well kind of steer into that. Boston College certainly has here as Texas Tech uses a timeout. Boston College up 11-5 here in this second set after finishing set 1 on a 4-0 run. Eagles in control early in match number 1.
Welcome back inside the Cannell Center along with Eric Galanti. Ben Alsher here with you on ACC Network Extra. Opening night for BC Volleyball. Mentioned, Eric, this is a little bit of a turning of the page in Jason Kennedy's tenure. Big graduating senior class a year ago, a class that accomplished a lot. 2 winning seasons each of the last 2 years. NIVC champions in 2022. Some good ACC records the last couple of years. And there are some still connecting pieces. Sophia Lambros, Julia Haggerty, both key components back.
Yeah, I think that, the thing about that senior group was it was less about, how many points and kills that you have to replace. And that's a lot of it. But just sometimes when you see programs build, you have that class that sort of is the one that changes things. And it was unique in that sense because of where the program was, that most of those players were 4-year players, which you so rarely see now in college. But basically all of those key pieces played all 4 years and just totally changed the course of the program. And the amazing thing, that 66-55 record, remember that class in the fall of 2020 after COVID played all those ranked teams, lost all 8 games, but gained all that experience. So really 66-47 if you take out those first 8 games of their career, right?
Tough serve. Yellen not going to be able to catch up to it. Red Raiders trying to work themselves back into this second set. The ace that time
I think a
from the center
necessary
board.
early timeout. I was almost surprised we didn't see it a little bit earlier in that set, the way it was going for Texas Tech. But remember, game 2 of the day, first game of the year.
Nice one-hand set for Roach. Picked up on top of the net, battle for it. Pollock pulls it back. Quick set for Schroeder, couldn't find the angle. Stuffed it into the net, so a couple eagle errors allowing Texas Tech back into it here. This is a team that Bohr is very familiar playing with against, has played here each of the last 2 years with Virginia Tech. Schroeder has to take a tough set from Yelland. Into the middle, no block. And Aaliyah McDonald takes advantage. She was massive in the blocking game earlier today in a win over Eastern Kentucky, and 3 straight points leads to a BC timeout.
Yeah, Boston College doesn't want to let this momentum get too far, so Jason Kennedy will go with the quick timeout. Not a ton of success setting the middle in terms of getting offensive points so far in this match for Texas Tech, but that was a good example of it right there, and McDonald picks up her first kill in her first attempt.
Well, McDonald's got the nod earlier today with Engler, again on that jump count. McDonald came through with 8 blocks. She's another one of those grad transfers coming over from Oregon State. Over 100 kills for the Beavers a year ago and 111 blocks. So she's an excellent blocker out of the middle. And again, filling in here. They've also moved Reagan Linen over to the middle. Coach Greystone calls her sort of a Swiss Army knife. She played a lot of right side at Southern Mississippi, but at 6 foot even, can play in the middle. And that's where they've utilized her early on with some injuries in that spot. Again, Engler working her way back from injury, and they also have an injury to another grad transfer, Jasmine Martin from Washington State, who is injured, not able to go this weekend.
But again, all of those that you're talking about, most of them power forward programs coming into Texas Tech. And the fact that they had them in the spring, so the thought is, you know, forget what the record was last year. Obviously, it was a struggle in the Big 12. But they feel like there is potential to grow because of all that experience coming together early on.
And that's sort of the lure of the transfer portal, if you will, as Bohr gets another ace off the serve, is that you can have almost a 1-year turnaround when you bring in that many new faces, especially if they have experience. It's just about how quickly it gels. Riddle, tight pass. Petrie put it on a tee for Roach. This one came with some authority.
Excellent set there by Petrie. That just takes practice and practice just to put it in the perfect spot for your middle.
Snaps what was a 4-0 Texas Tech run. Roach to serve. Pass a little bit off. Back row, it's Wesley. And that falls in front. Roach a little bit late to get there. Wesley put some air under it, but still found a home. It's now 8 kills for Mia Wesley. She's almost already at 40 swings. Just relentless in terms of how many times she will see the ball.
Yeah, just by comparison, she has 36 swings. No one else in this match has more than 22, and that's Hallie Schroeder for Boston College.
Pollock with a push. Merrick this time, powers it long. It's interesting, they got a couple early kills from Merrick in that first set, and just feels like we haven't seen a ton of her since.
Yeah, and was such an impactful piece in game 1 today against DKU. I wonder if that's a place that Texas Tech tries to get back to a bit.
Lambros puts it in the net. So, BC unable to grab momentum back. Red Raiders back within 2. You mentioned that nobody else in the match has more than 22 swings. Wesley has 36. Texas Tech has 67 as a whole. So she has more than 50% of their attack attempts. Into the middle, it's Haggerty. Oh, Wesley with a save. Out of the back row, Haggerty returns the favor with a block. So a great save by Wesley, but in the end, Haggerty closes the door.
Yeah, and because she was the one to take that initial swing. Watch her get right back in position and then read it well right down the middle.
And you saw Wesley take a step. She was looking to go after that set as well. Instead, it was Overbeck who came flying in from the back row. Allie Schroeder with the serve now for the Eagles. Overbeck, tough pass. Dickinson will bring it back. Free ball from Merrick. Harrington. Lambros to the middle, and Haggerty puts that one away. We talked about Julia Haggerty off the top. We are seeing both sides of her game flash.
Yeah, and not a ton of attempts so far today, but she's been really, really efficient with what she's gotten so far. 3 kills on 4 swings without an error. We'll take that.
Merrick able to steer it around Ross that time. First kill of the set for Merrick, first in a while. Here comes Correa in the serve. We mentioned the tough year for Texas Tech last year. They finished 11th in the Big 12, 4-14 record. Of those 4 wins, 3 of them came in 5 sets. There's another side out for BC.
Well, one thing we're seeing in this second set is a little streakiness from Boston College, both, I guess, slightly on the negative side where Texas Tech felt like they were going on a little run, but we've seen a couple of the end of the first set into the start of the second set. Now here, some momentum swings and add to it.
Another ace for Riddle. She had Dickinson backpedaling there. And it's gonna lead to a timeout. Second ace for the new libero, Morgan Riddle. Leads to another Red Raider timeout, second timeout.
Looked like a little bit of a, I'm not sure if it was a misread or just a tough one to pick up for McDonald, kind of backpedaling on it into trying to get it up.
It's just tough to take that ball when you're on the move, fading away.
Beg your pardon, Dickinson going back to get that one. But again, so when you look at the runs here, the Boston College finished 4-0 to end the second set, and then basically, if you combined it, it was 9-1 at one point, and then Texas Tech, who started to go on a run, they won 5 straight points from 12-5 to get it to 12-10, and then kind of back and forth we went. But then here all of a sudden for Boston College, 4 of the last 5 points, 5 out of 7, and another one of those runs to put themselves in a position to go up 2-0.
On a big part of that run, end of the first, beginning of the second, was Hallie Schroeder at the service line. And she has had a terrific performance tonight, 7 kills, also a team high 8 digs. And take a little bit of a closer look at Hallie Schroeder, coming off that excellent freshman season, where she was really maybe the most consistent hitter. See most points and kills by Boston College freshmen in over a decade. Also had 23 aces, so really showing off all facets of the game. Of course, she's a Harry Potter fan. Who isn't?
Yeah, there's a lot of them. It was never my thing, but I respect it.
Well, there you go. As long as you can acknowledge it. Showing off her wizardry with the swings. There's the Harry Potter tie-in. Riddle back to the line. Dickinson. Wesley doesn't have the answer there. Schroeder with her 9th dig. And Ross can't put it away. Bohr with a tip. First time we've seen that. Wesley blocked. This time it's Roach combining with Harrington. But the blocks have been steady all night.
Yeah, I think the thing that stands out is, as much as we talk about Haggerty, and rightfully so, we've seen a lot of different combinations that are having success in the block, right? That's Roach and Harrington up front. Harrington's the one that's kind of stood out to me, Ben, as maybe not the first person you think of in terms of the blocking piece, but again, the fact that she and Pollock are natural middles certainly helps.
Roach sets it up for Ross off the great dive by Riddle. Wesley off the block, right to Schroeder. Chance here. Harrington, roll shot, Dickinson on it. Back row, Overbeck tip. Saved by Harrington. Ross off the net. Tools the block. Some terrific defense. Eagles flying all over the place.
And they've just continued this momentum run. That was a long point, as you said, couple of different defensive spots, but a great job by Riddle, who's played well in her first game as an Eagle today. 33 digs for Boston College.
Setter change here for the Red Raiders. Tough serve. Wesley keeps it alive. Correa goes short. Cochran now takes over for Bohr. Doesn't matter, though. BC starting to pull away here in set 2. Another change. Overbeck's going to come back out, replaced by Contreras. Tony Greystone just looking for something to give his team a spark right now. .5-0 run currently. Wesley, too long. Make it 6-0 BC. This was a 3-point set at 16-13.
Yeah.
Raiders had cut it back to as close as 2 after the early Eagle run. Riddle doing it all from the service line. Tip short from Engler.
Remember, Texas Tech has already used both timeouts here, so this is one you may just need to get out of this set and reset a little bit.
And if that's the case, they'll be staring at an 0-2 hole.
Don't want to overstate it, but also remember they did play earlier today. Boston College did not.
Wesley, again, just a little too much behind that one. Wesley now with 8 errors to go along with 8 kills. Remember, a block does count as a hitting error. That's where some of those errors have come from, the BC block. Riddle looking to close it out at the line. Overpass, Harrington, Lambros, Ross says we're done here. 25-13, the Eagles close out the set on an 9-0 run. Back with Eric Galanti, I'm Ben Ulcher. Third set underway. Out of system look and an early block from the Red Raiders. Aaliyah McDonald and Emily Merrick up there to turn away Hallie Schroeder. Anna Bohr back at the line for the Red Raiders. Petrie to the middle, Haggerty off the net tape. New libero for Texas Tech, Correa now wearing the white libero jersey. Net call against Petrie, who just sort of lost her balance there and backed into the net.
Well, this is the kind of start you want, right? If you're Texas Tech, all right, settle in, get a couple points. Just kind of flush that second set, restart.
Correa taking over for Dickinson as the libero. Missed serve there by Bohr. Both teams have been pretty steady with the serve, not a lot of misses. 7 combined aces. Morgan Riddle has 2 for BC. Here's Lambros. Correa with the pass. Merrick gets the set and is blocked. And again, it's Haggerty. That is her 7th block of the night.
Yeah, certainly picking up right where she left off last year, that's for sure. Look how quickly Schroeder and Haggerty get in position and expand the angle, so there was just nowhere.
Tough set for Bohr. Haggerty there again, kept alive. Free ball for the Eagles. Hoppus is rejected. So Hoppus getting another look, coming back in after she was pulled in the second set. And again, a big block set up on the outside for Mia Wesley.
It's that back set that Lambros has been pretty effective at, and then you have the offhand Hoppus on the right side.
Schroeder on the angle, comes back to Haggerty. Back row, it's Ross, turned away. McDonald again getting hands to it. So Red Raiders said, hey, we got some blockers over here too.
And maybe a little short on the set, but it's always difficult from that back row.
Big topspin serve and an ace from Wesley.
Such a game of runs and momentum sometimes, and how quickly it can change from 9-0 one way to 5 of 7 now here the other way.
Really a foot fault there by Wesley. Got very close to the line. Schroeder's off speed turned away. Gonna get another chance. This time she gets it over the block. Merrick, tip, blocked, out. Well, Schroeder thought that was in. She is motioning for a challenge, and Jason Kennedy says, well, if Hallie Schroeder's telling me to challenge, I'm gonna challenge.
Yeah, that's a rare one where the way her angle was, Schroeder was actually maybe in better position to see it than the line official, right?
She may have
kind of
screened
blocking, yeah. So, probably a good time for it. Let's see.
May have actually been Haggerty coming over and got the last touch. It certainly looks like it lands on the line from that angle.
Yeah, I guess it's possible because we're on a little bit of the incorrect angle there, but to me, from that look, that looks like it is. Remember, there's closed circuit cameras throughout the facility that'll give an even better look for them downstairs, right down the line in a couple of different spots, so they'll be able to get a good look.
And we don't have official stats on Jason Kennedy challenges, but just from sort of perspective watching over the last couple of years, he's probably batting above 500.
Yeah, he's generally been pretty good.
7th year now as head coach of Boston College, over 100 wins, and a win on the challenge. So the block lands in. That's going to be the 12th Boston College block.
Big difference there from 6'2" to 5'3".
Right. Schroeder to serve. Williams off the block, right to Riddle. Ross turned away. Ross, second time, finds the angle. That's a tough shot for anybody.
Well, we talk a lot about Schroeder, and she's been impressed, but Ross now just continues. That's now 10 kills for Audrey Ross, hitting .280 today.
Schroeder goes into the net, so stunts the momentum a little bit. Schroeder nearing a double-double, has 7 kills and 10 digs. Here's Correa, the new libero. Taking over for Abby Dickinson. Hoppus able to jam that one through. So got blocked on an earlier point, redeems herself there. Former club teammates with Hallie Schroeder. They both come from Texas. Played for Drive Nation, one of the top club teams in the nation. See Jason Kennedy talking things over with Hoppus here. She was another one who was sort of in and out of the lineup a little bit last year. Just some those adjustments that it takes for a first-year college player last season. Nice angle on the shot there from Wesley.
But even last year as a freshman with a couple of juniors and seniors in front of him, now as a sophomore, actually one of the older veterans at that spot.
We've already seen that as a right side that Jason Kennedy will tinker with from time to time. Hoppus gets another opportunity here. High off the hands, but right to Wesley. And a nice find out of the middle for Engler. Just the second kill for the sophomore. She was a nice find a year ago. Regular starter as a freshman, over 150 kills, nearly 90 blocks. Push from Ross, right to Correa. Williams blocked, and it lands in. Nice job by Hoppus getting in to adjust to the set that time.
Yep, better sequence that time from Hoppus all the way around. Remember, that was actually a change there. Hoppus getting paired up with Lambros, and now it's Harrington who had been with Lambros, now on with Petrie. It's all about finding what's that perfect balance early on in the season.
That's what opening weekend's all about. Oh, Riddle got a good piece of it, but no one in position for a second touch. Another hammer from Bryn Williams. Simone Overbeck checks back in. Serve for Williams in the back row. Petrie to the middle, and the dunk from Harrington. Again, they run that shift with her and Roach.
And that's where, when you're going fast enough, you know, this set can be ever so slightly behind, but Harrington does a great job adjusting to it.
It's the third kill for Harrington tonight. By the way, that ties her career high. Wesley blocked, continued on. Back row, Overbeck off the hands. Harrington squares it. Petrie sets it for Schroeder. Correa on top. Schroeder again. Was it deflected out? Yes, it was. Corner official signaled out, it landed out, but it deflected off the block first. Brooklyn Yelland back to serve. Overbeck elected to play it. Wesley's tip. Petrie throws it. Yelland saves it. Off the free ball. Wesley. Riddle is there. Schroeder beats the double block. How about Morgan Riddle? She has been steady as you could ask for on night one.
Yeah, certainly so here in night number one. It feels like more than 9 digs, but that's what she has at the moment. But just keeping Boston College in points. And then Schroeder, good job off the block.
Another tough serve from Yelland. Dumped over. Petrie flicked it. Schroeder with a knuckle shot. Off the block. Yelland is there. Petrie for Schroeder again. Roller comes back. Schroeder just fired it over again. Dumped down. Bohr.
Smart. Good shot. Boston College was hanging in as much as they could, but clearly were kind of out of sequence there, and Bohr did an excellent job. That's a veteran play to read it.
She's used to running the show herself, played in a 5-1 at Virginia Tech. And we've seen her a couple times here in the past be aggressive in the front row. Hasn't done it quite as much tonight, but maybe that's part of what folding her into the Texas Tech system. They want her to maybe distribute a little bit more, not call her own number as much. All even at 10, Roach back to serve. Bohr. Tough set. Well, everybody got caught looking that time. As McDonald kind of fanned on it. Saved by Petrie. Roach will set it for Harrington. Wesley puts it away. Now that Roach said in earlier days might have been called a double contact, but with the new rule, they play on. Eventually, Wesley closes it out for her 10th kill. One player on each side in double digits now. Ross with 10 for BC. Tough pass. Wesley gets it. Riddle the pass. Schroeder blocked. Petrie goes back to her. Bohr with a nice dig. That one put on top of the net, and Haggerty's there to meet it. Julia Haggerty always high pointing the ball.
Now this started with a pretty good save here by Texas Tech. Right along the line. It may have actually been going out. It was close for Bohr, but right there has to take it. And it keeps it going, but Haggerty with a good read.
14 blocks now for the Eagles. We're not even quite halfway through this third set. Red Raiders had 14 in their opener over Eastern Kentucky, a 3-set win. Hoppus, overpass, that one put on a platter for McDonald. Just couldn't quite keep it on her own side that time. Red Raiders back in front. Big serve coming off the net from Wesley. Lambros with the jump set. Schroeder put a charge into it. Merrick down the line, dug by Yelland. Back set, Hoppus finds the corner. Nice job by Lambros coming to the near side, and a good, strong back set for Hoppus.
She's always had that shot in there, Lambros. That back set has always been an effective part of her game.
Schroeder with the serve now, and an ace. Wesley was backpedaling, elected to let it go. Ace number 5 for BC. Second of the night for Schroeder. Correa, overpass, slammed home by Ross. Two really good serves from Hallie Schroeder.
You know, you remember last year it was Lambros and Crabtree who were always the two that could really serve you out of a jam if you were Boston College, and Schroeder kind of fitting into that role. And what a run here. Remember how this set started, and Texas Tech had gotten out to a really strong start, but now it's Boston College on a run.
3 in a row from Hallie Schroeder, an ace, and 2 overpasses leading to Audrey Ross kills. And BC has turned it around here in the third. Eagles looking for the sweep, on top by 3 in the third.
This summer, it's time to...
Well, it took Audrey Ross a little bit of time last year to get adjusted to the college game, but when she had her highs last year, they were highs, and she's starting out 2024 on a high note tonight.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, not only is it the 12 kills, Ben, that stands out on 28 swings, that hit percentage of .321, she only had 3 matches last year where she hit a higher percentage than that. So that stands out in a big way here in this match, and it feels like Boston College has some momentum right now. See if they can carry that through. It's been a theme of the day.
It's been Schroeder with the serve and Ross getting it done up front. Another chance here. Comes up back off the block. Over to Hoppus. Caught leaning back a little bit. Williams over the block and out, but off the deflection. Down official had the touch call. So Williams able to get the side out for Texas Tech. Red Raiders need a win here in the third. They dropped the first 25-21, lost the second 25-13. Ross with the pass. Hoppus again. Comes over and out. And good power on the swing from Sam Hoppus. 5 kills, 3 of them in this third set.
Yeah, this time paired up with Lambros, and they've had a good connection on that back set.
Riddle, the libero to serve. Wesley's pass, a good one. Merrick. Doug, tight. Roach keeps it up. Wesley saves it again. Engler. Riddle. Hoppus is there. Schroeder. Set from Engler. Williams off the block, and it lands out. Good turn there by Williams to just throw it off the hands. It's a heads-up play from the junior.
Really important moments here for Texas Tech. Cannot let Boston College get on another run and potentially put this match away.
Dickinson in to serve. Oh, Correa couldn't get out of the way of that one. Want to play libero, kids, is what you have to deal with sometimes.
Yeah, had the one that bounced off the head earlier, that one up high as well.
Yelland in to serve, Correa. Engler the tip. Riddle got to it. Hard collision as Harrington was down there as well. Good to see everybody get up without injury.
You know, the thing that stands out to me about Riddle is, you know, maybe a little bit taller than your average libero, or at least, you know, some of the liberos that we've seen. So, I mean, that just expands the reach. And I think you're seeing that here in this first match with Boston College.
Overbeck with an ace, able to pull it back within 1. And Riddle listed at 5'8". Have to go back and remember, I think Anna Murphy was 5'5". 5'6" maybe. Set to the middle. They again tried to drop the double, really wasn't there. And Wesley on the angle shot. Number 11 tonight for Mia Wesley on her 50th swing.
Well, we told you she's going to be a workhorse, and that has been the case. Really good job to get it around the block. 5-6.
And another ace from Overbeck. Again, they go after Ross. And the Red Raider is back in front, 18-17. Jason Kennedy going to take a timeout here. It looked like he just wanted to adjust the serve receive. Now he decides to call the timeout. First one tonight for Boston College, first of the set.
Well, we've only really seen that scoring run in the middle of the second set for Texas Tech. And then Boston College completely kind of blitzed them back the other way. But here, 4-0 scoring run for Texas Tech on the Overbeck serve. She's done a really good job. That's kind of one of those rotation spots that can be a little bit of an issue for BC in the serve return. Hanging in here, though, in this third set.
Texas Tech hoping to turn it around tonight, hoping to turn it around from last season as well. I mentioned 4-14 in the Big 12 a year ago, had to play some 5-setters just to get wins. And they are picked last out of the 15 teams. Again, expanded Big 12 now up to 15. You add in 4 teams from the previous Pac-12, Arizona, Arizona State there in third. Utah comes in as well. That's a good program.
It's interesting because you do add BYU, who's obviously been a very good program, and some other good ones as well. But, you know, sometimes when you lose such an obvious favorite year in, year out, like Texas has been, I mean, how many years in a row has Texas probably been picked first in the Big 12? So once that comes out, even though you do have a lot of really good programs in there, it'll be interesting to see who kind of takes that jump into that favorite role. You know, even in the ACC, as much as the other teams coming in, how long have Pitt and Louisville been 1 and 2 or 3 in the ACC preseason poll?
And you never know with this new look Red Raider team how they will fare. Overbeck long set for Wesley. Schroeder with a bump pass into the net. Petrie couldn't really do much with that. So the run continues from Overbeck at the line. She has been with the Red Raiders for a couple of years now. Originally started her career in Arizona, sat out 2022. And a couple extra years due to a medical red shirt. Dickinson, Borer, tough set. No room for a hit there. Harrington drills it, Correa saves it. Wesley down the line, off the block. Mia Wesley, unrelenting in her attacking prowess. BC just looking for some reprieve here in this rotation.
Texas Tech, which was basically at almost a 0 hit percentage in the first 2 sets, up at 265 here in set 3, much better.
Harrington steers it out wide. Eagles having some trouble on the serve receive. Jason Kennedy gonna make a change. Harrington will come out, will be replaced by Sequoia Lane.
First year from White Plains, New York.
Jason Kennedy said he likes her power. Roach able to go and get that one. I don't know how, but somehow Petrie was able to stay out of the net there.
Yeah, just a great job of knowing your position on the floor. Having kind of that sense of the floor geography there.
Immediately Harrington reinserted. Yelland serves. Wesley finds the gap that time. Too much power on that shot.
Equally good set from Borer that time. That was one that looked like it could be slightly off, and she did a great job of controlling this and putting it in a perfect spot for Wesley.
Tony Greystone said he originally tried to get Borer to come to Texas Tech out of high school in Ohio, but she decided kind of early on in the process to go to Virginia Tech, and he said, as soon as I saw her name in the portal, she was my first call. Schroeder answers back. BC needs to find a way to put a little run together, though, here, down by 3. Roach back to serve. Haggerty into the front row. Red Raiders just trying to extend the match to a fourth set. Short pass from Overbeck. Again, it's Wesley around the block, but out. And now there's a little bit of difference when you add Haggerty back into that front row mix.
I mean, the block has been where Boston College has been most effective today. This is kind of that set changing point at 22-20.
Roach keeps it in. Wesley again, tip. Petrie is there.
It's just a natural part of it, but I think we've really seen Boston College, you know, if you can tangibly grab hold of momentum at times and really go on some of those runs, but you still have to be able to do it, and to their credit, they've done that a bunch of different times today.
You saw there the run for Texas Tech, have not won a true road game since 2022. It was in conference play against West Virginia. This is their first true road test of the day. They'll play against Iona, another neutral game tomorrow.
West Virginia is about as far east as Texas Tech has come as a program, right? Before this trip up to Boston.
Second ever meeting between these two programs. They did play in 2012. That was a 5-set victory for the Red Raiders, prior to both Jason Kennedy and Tony Greystone. Late in sets has been BC's time, Eric. They closed the first on a 4-0 run. They closed the second on a 9-0 run. And right now, they're on a 5-0 run here, trying to close out a 3-set sweep on opening night. It's been Cornelia Roach trying to serve it out. Good pass this time, and McDonald got a good look, but missed it.
Well, that's one that's probably designed out of the timeout, and it was there. It just wasn't quite executed. Now all of a sudden, match point.
Roach again. Good pass from Williams. It's Wesley. It's blocked. Haggerty is there again. Block number 14 on opening night. And Boston College blocks their way to a sweep over Texas Tech. 25-22 in the third.